Oh, this is exciting. We've got beams cut now. Hi folks, welcome to today's video. Today is an exciting day. It's the day we see the workshop timbers getting cut. Cue cinematic B-roll montage. Now some of you may know that I've used this sawmills before. I've bought some live edge boards there and I've been there recently and featured that on Instagram. Now we're stuck behind a quarry truck. But Valley Sawmills is about 15 minutes from our house. And the way I found them, about 2 or 3 years ago when I was researching timber for my timber framed workshop, I wanted to use Douglas Fir. I think oak's probably become the default, certainly in the UK, for timber frame buildings. But most of the oak frames that you see going up, the timber frames going up, they are actually encased afterwards in either SIPs, insulated panels, or brick or stone outside of it. So the durability as far as the timber versus weather doesn't really come into it. Yes, maybe for carports and gazebos and all that sort of stuff, then oak might have the edge, but even Douglas Fir is quite a durable timber. In our instance, we're cladding the outside, so it's never going to see the weather, so the durability of it is less of an issue. It's more about the strength, the appearance, the workability, and the price, because Douglas Fir is cheaper than oak, plus it's super local. Anyway, that's why I'm going with it. But let's head over to the sawmills now. They're cutting today and tomorrow. I have no idea what part through my cut list they are. They might not even be cutting when we get there. But hey, let's try and get some video and see what this old sawmill is up to. So we're at the sawmills now. We're going to get some socially distant sawmill action. Hopefully the logs are going to be hitting the mill now. From my understanding, the mill that they're using for the beams is like the original old sawmill for this company, but they've kept this one for these sort of bespoke smaller orders of beams, cladding and things like that. Let's go. I can see trees, big logs. So I just spoke with Garth and he's about halfway through our cut list, and if you have a look over here, I'm guessing this is the rest of them. I think he's on the 6 meter lengths now, which are basically going to run the two long walls of the workshop I can do in one hit. I'm hoping they're going to be nice and straight as well, so it just saves on a scarf join halfway along. Not that I'm afraid of doing a scarf join, but if I don't need to do one, I don't need to do one. They also cut oak beams as well, and these look like they're oak. They're obviously not as long, but they're English oak, so they probably use those more for the boards that they sell in the shop and the air dry timber than for big long beams. You know, Douglas fir, when you can get this sort of length, it's just a huge win over the oak. Yeah, I think that's definitely the 6 meter. Looking at these timbers, I might have over-engineered the workshop. So that one is the top beam that goes along the whole top of each wall. Well, that's not quite as painfully heavy as the oak would be. Well, that is it. That is nearly all the beams ticked off his list. There was one beam which is a 7 meter ridge beam, really big one, which I'd actually told him not to cut because I was going to change to doing a truss roof. Going with a truss roof means I'm going to have to go with full planning because it's close to the boundary, blah blah blah. So I've actually got him to stick it back on the list. So those trees over in the corner, there should be one in there which is long enough, and he's going to cut that huge one from that tomorrow. Oh, this is exciting. We've got beams cut now. Unfortunately, we haven't got any time to timber frame because I've still got no roof on my house. But it's not going to be long. I think I can do some of the joinery in the current workshop in that garage conversion, and then the longer beams I'll just have to, you know, wrap up warm and do in November bit of joinery outside. Anyway, going back to oak. Oak is the default for timber framing in the UK at least. It's a really good timber, it's really durable and crazy strong. It's very heavy to work with, and it's a little bit harder to work with than Douglas fir. Plus, nearly all of it has to be imported. And there's nothing wrong with that. The French know how to manage forestry in a big way. I mean, when we were over there on holiday last year, we drove up through central France for a period of what's probably seemed like a day, because we had a 4-week-old child in the car, but it was for about 6 hours, and I'd say for 3 or 4 hours solid we were driving through hours and hours of oak forests and arable land, and it's just a much more planned forestry system out there. Their trees are harvested, you know, they're just crops. It's just a forestry plantation, so it's not the same as our ancient woodlands in the UK and the oak trees that we're used to seeing here, which are hundreds of years old. They're more gnarly and twisted, and when timber is harvested from them, it's amazing for feature pieces, but for just post after post after post, English oak tends to be used less, and it would work out more expensive, and we've got far less of it. Anyway, cutting to the chase, Douglas fir, on the flip side, is a much straighter tree. It's very tall, it's obviously slightly faster growing, but when Douglas fir is dry, it is crazy strong. For a softwood, it is, I would assume, one of the strongest, if not the strongest species out there, and certainly way overkill for what we need. And wherever you are in the UK, there's probably a good chance that you can buy local Douglas fir, so if that's a consideration as well. And for me, when we're near Longley and the whole of the Mendips, I think it's the Mendip forestry or something that fell these. So there's enough out there, and it's nice and local. Some people don't like Douglas fir because it kind of goes pinky, orangey as it dries. I don't mind that, and even if you did mind it, you can. A lot of people lime wash, or not lime wash, but whitewash the beams to just tone them down a bit. But there's all sorts of options there. But you know, for me, Douglas fir seems like a nice route to go, and what it looks like is wood. And hey, if it's a little bit pinky, we will embrace pink wood. Well, there we go. With that DJ set over and the crazy flexible yoga cat featured, I thought I'd leave you with my favourite part. This measurement wheel is just amazing. I love it. You can't beat some of this old machinery, and you know, no digital readouts here. That's a super cool way to go. But thank you to Garth and the guys for letting me have a little look around the Sawmill whilst they cut our order. I'm afraid it will be a few weeks still before we can make a start on that, because I've got to finish the roof. But in the meantime, do check out some of our older timber framing videos from when I built the oak frame porch and the oak framed pergola for my parents' house. I'll also pop some links down in the description to my favourite timber working tools. So if you do want to build something along with me in a few weeks' time, you can gear yourself up ready. But thank you for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you next time.